Soy yo, Vicky, otra vez. It's me, Vicky, again. This video, I just wanted to tell you about the books that I have available to buy that might interest you, either to learn Spanish or English. I do have a book on learning English as well, which unfortunately I don't have a copy of to show you, but I am going to put a link in the description box where if you want, si quieres aprender inglés en casa, puedes comprar el libro en Amazon. Voy a dejar el enlace en descripciones. If you're an English speaker looking to learn Spanish, there are various books that you may be interested in that I have for sale, which on Amazon, or you can buy them here through me, through the website, or send me a message and we can arrange delivery and payment. And these books, these first set of books you may have heard of. If you've done classes with me, you definitely will know them. And this is my series of Break the Language Barrier. I have level 1 for you beginners or beginners with a base, because even if you know a little bit of Spanish already, level 1 would be the book for you because it teaches you so much of the foundations of Spanish. Not only the very basics like the alphabet and numbers, but how to put sentences together, how to form conversations in the present tense. Irregular verbs, the verb ir, ser and estar, etc. So these are things that even if you're not an absolute beginner, you might know a little bit about, but maybe you don't know them in depth. And my book goes into depth with them. I think it's a good foundation for anyone who's either just learning Spanish or maybe has learned a little bit here and a little bit there and wants to consolidate it and put it all together. So that is level 1, break the language barrier, level 1. Be aware that if you find it on Amazon, it may well have a different picture on it. Because I do tend to change the photos every now and again. Obviously, you know, I'm getting older, so I have to put different photos on. I've got a completely different hair colour from the very first photo that I had on there. So, okay, then once you finish level 1, you may want to go on to level 2. Now, the thing is, these books, you can use them at home. If you haven't got time for classes, even Zoom classes, because of course you don't actually need to come here now for classes. We can do classes over Zoom. You can use these books at home and the answers are in the back. It's very clearly explained. It's explained in English. And if ever there's anything that you're not quite sure about, you can always drop me an email or send me a message and ask me a question. Okay, so what do we do in Break the Language Barrier level 2? Well, some of you will already know I call this the pain barrier, because this is deals with past tenses, reflexive verbs, pronouns. I don't want to frighten you to death if you're a beginner. But these are all just grammatical terms that sound difficult, but once you're actually explained how to do them, they become much clearer. But it is a difficult level. I wouldn't lie to you. It is the trickiest level because you've got a lot to. In level 1, we only deal with the present tense. But then when you come on to the past tenses, there's quite a few of them. You've got a lot of endings to learn. So I'm not saying it's not difficult. It's a tricky level. My experience with my students, if they get past the second level, get through the second level, they normally go on to be really, really good at Spanish. But this is like the barrier. That's why I call it the pain barrier, because you know, when things get difficult, sometimes you feel like giving up. You know, I do too in other things. But if you persevere and you get through this level, then normally my students go on to be really, really good students, good speakers of Spanish. Okay, so then the good news is that if you get through level 2 and you go on to level 3, it's easier. We go in level 3, we're going to future tenses. We're also consolidating the past tenses, you know, we're practicing them, etc. Level 3 is just that little bit easier. Nothing is as difficult as the past tenses and deciding which tense to use, etc. Future tenses are much more, much easier, in my opinion. I mean, there are some, there's imperatives, pour and para is explained in here. That's a big problem that people have. So, if you've got to that stage, level 3, hopefully you'll work through each stage. Then level 4, the dreaded subjunctive. Everybody's always I call it the sexy subjunctive to try and put a positive spin on it. Here again, it's the actual subjunctive is not difficult to learn. What's difficult is knowing when to use it, and I try and explain as clearly as possible. You know, within reason, at the end of the day, language is not an exact science. There'll always be times when you think, do I need the subjunctive or don't I need the subjunctive? You know, obviously, if Spanish is your mother tongue, you just use it instinctively. You don't have to think about whether you need to use it or not. So it's always, again, it's progress, not perfection that we're going for. So don't be hard on yourself and expect to get everything perfectly right. But break the language barrier level 4 is for those of you that have done all the other things, because it also practices all the other things that are in the other books. What you'll find about my books is they build bit by bit, and everything you learn is a consolidation as well of what's come before. So it's a structural process. Now, a couple of little extra books that I have if you're interested in learning Spanish or English, in fact, because I have some dual language storybooks, which again are on Amazon or can be bought through here, very economical. And we have English and Spanish. We have Duque el Rey y Peter el Tonto van de Vacaciones. Duke the King and Peter the Silly, or Silly Peter go on holiday. They're just little stories about dogs. They're true, but just to practice the language, really. This was the first one, which was Princess Tia's Great Adventure, or La Gran Aventura de la Princesa Tia. Again, this one is actually in colour. The others aren't in colour. So that one's a little bit more expensive because it's in colour. And then this one seems to be very popular. Maybe it's because he's just so cute. Rocky is such a cute little dog. Rocky the Rebel, or Rocky el Rebelde. And this, again, just a little story. It has pictures, but it's not in colour. And we have the English right next to the Spanish, so you can practice the tenses that you've done already. And the last book that I just wanted to show you that's already for sale, some of you have, well, quite often people say to me, oh, well, how did you end up in Spain? How did you end up a Spanish teacher, etc.? And so this is my story. If you're interested in it, Confessions of a Spanish Teacher. It's a very personal story, and thank you to all of you that have bought it and read it already. It was... how can I put it? It was quite cathartic writing it and getting the story out. There's some dramatic things in there, I suppose, but do you know, I think everybody has dramatic things in their lives. Everybody has a story to tell. This is my story. Confessions of a Spanish Teacher, Volume 1, because there will be more confessions. I just couldn't fit everything in. And it makes it sound like I've had a really exciting life, but I didn't think I had until I started writing things like that. I suppose not exactly exciting is not maybe the right word, but yeah, some, you know, things have happened like they have to most people. So those are the books that I've got on sale at the moment. In the new year, I will be releasing, hopefully, you know, barring accidents, Break the Language Barrier Level 5. And Break the Language Barrier Level 5, you can order now, pre-order for €10. It will cost €15. That really is for people that have done all the grammar of the other books. Not that the books are all grammar, there's a lot of conversation in it, translations, etc. But the level 5 will be a practice of everything. So it will be fun things. There'll be some games, there'll be translations, there'll be crosswords, there'll be sort of what I hope are interesting ways of practicing the Spanish that you know. But that's not available yet, except for pre-order. It will come out in the new year. And the reason I put things for pre-order is because when I know people have ordered my books, that means I have to actually finish them off because, it's like there's always something else to do. So that will be January. And I had a little bit more of exciting news. Whether that news is exciting about the books, I don't know. But yes, so I have had television cameras here, and at sometime probably before Christmas, I will be on. For those of you that are British, I know you're not all British and living in Britain, but for those of you who are and who watch British TV, I will be on Bargain Loving Brits in the Sun. It's this new series that is starting this month in September 2022. I will be in probably 2 episodes of this series because I don't know that unless they do both the appearances that I've done in 1 episode. Because yes, I was very fortunate. I just received a random message basically from someone saying that they were the assistant producer on Bargain Brits and they had found my contact details on Facebook, good old Facebook, and that they had someone they were doing a story on that wanted to do some Spanish classes, and would I be interested in doing this Spanish class and be filmed? So, of course, I agreed, even though I must admit afterwards I thought, I don't know whether I should have agreed to that, but I did agree. Not for any reason, except I just don't want to look an idiot. It's quite scary having the TV cameras around. And then they phoned me again and said, well, actually, we think we'd quite like to do a story on you, if that's okay. So they came and filmed a whole day about me. And then they came back and filmed the class with the other gentleman who's having his story told on Bargain Loving Brits. And yeah, so I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know how it'll turn out. Obviously, they were filming a long time, but I don't know what it's going to look like, how I'm going to sound. I don't know which bits they'll use, which bits they won't use. It was likely only to be 10 minutes or something, even though they were actually filming all day. So that's a bit something to look out for. If I do find out exactly when I'm going to be on, I will, of course, let everybody know. That's it. That's the news. I just wanted, sometimes I think I don't mention my books. Some of you know about my books, but some people don't know about my books. If you have bought the book and used it, or one of the books, and you have found it useful, if you bought it on Amazon, it would be brilliant if you could do a review on Amazon, because that helps with the what do they call them, the algorithms of Amazon as to whether, and also helps people when they're making a decision which book to buy on learning Spanish. If you don't mind, if you have time, I know you've all got busy lives, I'm just grateful that you used my book in the first place. Okay, so as always, como siempre, gracias por mirar. Thank you for watching. I will see you really soon in the next video. Te veo muy pronto en el próximo video. And until then, hasta entonces, que tu Dios vaya contigo. Let your God go with you. Gracias.